What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel here today. Today we've got a little bit of an install video, of course. Today I'm very excited to say that we've partnered up with Vic Off-Road, and today we're going to be going over some ditch lights that they sent out to me. Little kit, a little 4-inch pods that I'm going to go ahead and mount these as part of the lighting system here that we have or will have on the truck. So basically just kind of going over it. Vic Off-Road sent me out some little 4-inch pods that I'm gonna try and get out if I can. Alrighty guys, so we got them off, and like I was saying, they were 4-inch pods that they're sending out to me. And it looks like it's a pretty easy install as far as like installing it and stuff like that. It doesn't really take too much. They sent me out the 4-inch pods. They sent me some little mounting brackets that we're gonna actually put on some little brackets, of course, for the ditch light portion of it. So these actually weren't sent out to me, but I just got some generic ones from a buddy that actually ran ditch lights before and took them off and doesn't have the truck anymore. So big shout out to Mark, who hooked it up with the brackets, of course, to mount them in the ditch area. But again, we got the 4-inch pods that are coming in. That little mounting kit that will actually attach to the brackets themselves. And then a little wiring harness that is the most straightforward wiring harness that I've ever seen. Plug and play. You've got the, of course, basically your body cable, your battery cable that we've got to put it on, and then got to put some ground on there too, and then just run the wire however you want it to run. So that's pretty much it, and we'll kind of go over that little process here right now in just a few moments. It shouldn't take too long, and I'll try and time myself and see how long that's going to take us. So let's get right into it. All right, guys, so like I was going over, this kit is honestly the easiest that I've seen so far, because these 4-inch pods, of course, will come with a little connector. Now, Vic Off-Road sent me the wiring, of course, that will pretty much bring them to life, and basically just plugging and playing here on this side to either one, and they bring both connectors, of course, on the harness that they provided. So we've got that there, and then we've got the ground for the black wire, and then I'm gonna actually route this to my battery, since I don't have anything. Well, actually I have one thing mounted on there, so as far as that goes, it shouldn't be too crazy or anything like that, causing any energy. But they also have a fuse here that if in case this guy blows, then we can actually have some safety in regards to your PCM and things like that. So there's a fuse right there, and of course another fuse, I'm sorry, not a fuse, a relay that we've got right here. That's also pretty cool and stuff. So pretty much just getting these guys mounted onto the battery and then onto some ground, which usually means a little piece of metal or something like that, under a bolt usually. And then that kit will of course bring the wiring that actually leads into the cab with a little button, which looks pretty cool. It's pretty straightforward, on and off, and then some little 3M tape that is on the other side that you can mount pretty much anywhere. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into it and start building this thing. Alrighty guys, so like I was saying earlier, the 4-inch pod is pretty straightforward as far as it goes. It does have some little nuts on the back side for the bracket that they provide for you, so that you can just kind of mount it like this. So without further ado, we're gonna go ahead and get into it. And the first thing you wanna kind of do is mount this little bolt guy right here. That way he's locked in place, and then you'll put this guy right over here. And then you'll kind of just move around. You'll get a little nut and a washer here for this guy, which you'll kind of just get that one in and then go hand tight on that guy. And then you're gonna wanna get the other one and then go hand tight on that guy as well. And you only wanna go hand tight for now, just because now you can start moving it around. You can go up and back depending on how comfortable and where you want those lights to aim. So we're gonna leave that right now. And then just for the sake of showing you guys how it'll actually mount to the bracket itself, you're gonna have this bolt already extended out, and then you just kind of slide this guy in, and then put a washer, of course, for that guy as well, and then go with the nut on the bottom side, and you'll just go down. That's pretty much it. So we only want to do hand tight right now, just because you want to be able to shift things around depending on where you go. But that's pretty much it as far as the installation goes, and that's how it'll kind of look just before getting on the truck and stuff like that. Of course, once it's already on, you can ultimately tighten it and then lock the light in place. So far, again, this has been really easy to install. You can move it, shift it wherever you need to. Everything is provided for you, even the Allen key you need to tighten these guys with. So that to me was really awesome. especially if you're just doing this at home. Again, a really easy setup as far as that goes, and so far so good. So from here on out, pretty much we're just gonna go ahead and mount these guys on there and then start doing some wiring. All right, guys, so on this portion, you're just gonna wanna remove these little 12mm bolts that pretty much hold the hood down. And that's all that'll hold the hood down. So what you gotta do is pretty much just remove these guys, but be very careful, of course, when removing these guys. They're not really on there too tight, 1, 2, but the really scary part is that this hood is kind of sharp, so you'll kind of want to put your hand in the back. And the reason why being is because that being so sharp, it's so close to the hood that it might actually crack it. So you just want to be very careful and not crack your windshield. So it's pretty straightforward. Again, this is just for the brackets, of course, that'll actually go in the ditch area. Sorry, I'm trying to do this with basically one hand, and since it's hand tight, it's not really all that loose. You can stop. Okay, guys, so now here comes the bracket, and this bracket in specific, you'll want to mount it in between where the actual hood latches onto the hood itself. So you'll just kind of slide that guy from the back in, and then start to kind of line things up just a little bit as best as possible. It is a little tricky just because they'll tend to slip away just like that. And you'll kind of line it up, move things around, and it'll start coming together. So you'll go just a little bit on that side, and then find the rear one, and there we go. Starting to come together. Okay, so we got the connectors right over here. Of course, that'll go into the 4-inch pods. I'm trying to keep it as kind of clean as possible, of course, making it look stock inside the engine bay and not making it look like a rat's nest. So right now, what we're just gonna pretty much do is plug these guys in, of course, so that the little 4-inch pods can have power. I've tucked in the pod wiring right over here to kind of make it look a little bit more seamless and not really anything too crazy. So you'll just kind of push those guys in until they go in and lock in place. There we go on that guy. And then I'm gonna kind of run this guy all the way over onto the other side, which, as you guys can see, is already getting stuck. But again, this is a very, very seamless system, to be quite honest with you guys. Nothing really too crazy. And then that'll be pretty much it after connecting these guys together, of course. Making sure everything works. So we got everything connected. We've got the lights connected. Everything as far as that goes is all done. And then we're just gonna go ahead and loosen this little nut right here on top of the positive battery there. Battery could use a cleaning. And then you kind of just want to sneak this guy in right over here so that it can wrap around and pretty much start getting power. And that should be it on that side. Of course, you'll want to tighten this guy once it comes down to the time. And now it'll get power from the battery itself. You don't want to over torque that as well. And then you're going to want to get ground, which I'm going to go with this guy right here. Make sure that's the right bolt. Nope, that's probably going to be a 10. And then you're just going to want to loosen this guy as well. Now, if you're wondering what that other wiring is there for, that is actually for my onboard compressor that also needs power. So then you'll just slide in that black cable as well, which is your ground, and tighten that guy up just a little bit. That should be it. Okay, as far as the wiring goes, now we'll of course have to clean this up, make everything look pretty, but that should be it. For the sake of the video, I'm just gonna show you, I zip tied the whole wiring up against like the wiring in the back that's already existent from the factory there. So I just kind of left the zip ties, of course, with the little ends on them for now, so you guys can see how many I kind of had to apply, of course, to the to make it kind of look in a sense seamless as possible, clean this guy up as well, and it kind of looks okay now. So for the last piece of the wiring, of course, for the button itself, we actually punched through the firewall itself. And if you guys take a look, this wire leads inside, and then we kind of just led through, made a small little hole that was already actually existent, passed it through there. And then, I don't know if you guys can barely see maybe, here's that button guy, okay? So the wiring, of course, you can't see, comes up from the bottom. Then I pretty much just wired it up right over here. And as you guys can see, we have power because the little button guy is on. So without further ado, we're gonna show you how these guys turned out.